right. Looks like audio's going. Let's get the background music going. And let's also go ahead and get the actual stream's link here. Put this in my chat. If I can find the damn thing. It's always so hard to find this. Okay. Go to my channel. Live streams. There we go. Then get this link. Copy. I really need to get a bot for this on my Discord. Send that. Hello, Tyler. Or is that Taylor? Why am I blanking on the pronunciation of that? That shouldn't be hard. It's a name. I'm fucking. Oh god, it's been a long day. It's been a long day. Let's pop out the chat here so I can keep tabs on everybody. Hey there, Ryan. Everybody can hear me all right, right? I'm making sure my audio is good and that the background music is just barely there, just enough to fill the dead air is what I want it to be. Just get my drink here. All right. I don't know what you're saying yes to, Conley, because there's a delay on the streams. Gotta be more specificity. You need to be specific. Let's just go with that. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna wait like just a hair, just to see if see who kind of filters in here for the stream before we get into it. But yeah, we're getting back into some world building today. We have I don't know why I had to bring that over. We have gone ahead, and I definitely need to bring this over. If it'll actually load the map. Come on. For some reason the like picture viewer or photo viewer on Windows 10 has been like really buggy with me lately. We've finished the map of the world in the last couple of streams. So like there's the contour map, this is the borders and everything map. I know they're very minor because the borders are very faint. We've got all that worked out. And I've named basically all the major nations and everything I need to name. Like, there's this continent, and there's a lot of, like, minor nations and stuff that aren't named, but that's not super important for what I need. So you may be thinking, what's next? Since this is a novel, when I'm just going to write on stream. No, because that would actually be boring. That would be torture for all of you. We're not doing that. We are... Instead, I need a like a regional map. I need to work out kind of the area that the story is going to be taking place in, for the most part. And part of that is I need to, basically this view, I need to make a much more detailed map with like towns and cities and roads and railways and, like, you know, the smaller rivers and the contours of, like, hilly areas and that kind of stuff. So I need to work that out. So, to do that, we're going to take this map. We're going to take this map and we're going to use it as kind of a. We're going to overlay it into a blank canvas, and we're going to trace the board, or we're going to trace the contours. Well, not necessarily the contours, but at least the land masses. And then work on a more detailed view of everything for our regional map. So we're going to go ahead and do that today, is the plan. So I've already got my Clip Studio up. And what we need to do is... I still find it easier to navigate the menu of Clip Studio Paint with the mouse instead of the damn stylist pen. We're going to start a new one. This is going to be the Fifth Algon Republic. Yeah, Republic. Regional map. Okay, we got that. We're going to go off this preset. Unless they have a preset for A-sized documents. Doesn't look like they do. Okay, so we're going to go for pretty standard for me is we're going to go... what's the aspect ratio on... What is the aspect ratio for, like, a computer screen? It's not 2:1. It's less than that. I gotta look that up. Probably should have looked this up already. Screen aspect ratio, 16:9. Okay, so we want to try and get kind of a 16:9. Yeah, 16:9 aspect ratio. So if we go ahead and we do width, I want an 8K width by... Okay, so that's 2:1. Oh god, what does that translate to in 16:9? Always my bane here. You guys see me do math. Screw it. We'll just do the same that I was doing before because it makes sense. So let's do a 8K by 4K. Resolution 72 I think is fine. Yeah, any more than that, and it's going to be a bit much, especially because we're blowing it up a lot. So we're going to do that. No paper color, so we have a transparent backing. Okay, so we got that. Take another drink to wet my whistle and keep my throat from drying out. Okay. Also, I gotta keep the screen. Okay, there we go. Nope. Keep the damn chat up. Alright. So, now we're also going to go ahead and we're going to import an image. We're going to import image. I don't know what we're doing there. We're going to go ahead and go here. We need to go ahead and get a... where the hell is it at? There it is. Okay. There we go. We're importing this. And then we need to get it kind of where we want it to be. We want it to... We're going to expand it out quite a bit. So we need to maintain the same aspect ratio, though. Okay. Let's keep this going here. Alright, maintain the aspect ratio, just keep zooming it out. It'll be pixelated as all hell, but it'll work. Might be able to shrink that up just a little bit. Could do something like that. That's still fairly... And that was the wrong one to import. That was the wrong one to import. We need the actual world map. There we go. We need that. Okay, we're just going to select everything. Copy. Go ahead and we need the one with the actual national borders. We're going to delete that layer, and then we are going to go ahead and paste that as a layer. So we got that. Now let's select layer. We're going to need to morph it because it's a new object. So layer, where's the transform menu? I know it's somewhere in it. Transform. Okay, we get that. Another drink. How's everybody doing in the chat? How's everyone doing? I know we got a couple of people watching. Okay, we got that. Okay. Come on, get that. There we go. Run around there. Okay, we got that. Now let's kind of try and work out. That's a lot. Won't be able to fit as much in. I might want to edit the canvas a bit. We'll accept that for right now. That's okay. It'll take a minute to transform everything. All right. But yeah, we're going to be making essentially like a regional, like atlas or like a regional map instead of a world map now. And then with that, hopefully we won't have too many problems. We can kind of work from there. I'm hoping that with that, I'll have everything I need to start writing. which means I'll have to figure out something else to do for these live streams. But I've got a couple ideas, so we can work through those. Just take a minute for this to go through. As a side note, I've been working on a bit, like I didn't just stop with the names. I've gotten a couple of more names for various areas in the world, so that's good. There we go. Okay, now let's see. I think I need to edit the canvas. I think I need to canvas properties. Yeah, we need to. I think we need to bring the width down a little bit. I mean, that's we got a 4K height, 8K wide. Maybe make that like a 6K wide. Okay, we're just gonna manually put that in there. 6K. I think that'll be better. That'll be a bit closer. Yeah. Okay. There we go. That's a bit better. All right. So let's get this kind of arrayed here. Can shrink it just a little bit more, and we'll be able to get everything I kind of need going here. Actually, no. Let's expand it out a little bit more. Yep. There we go. We want to get a good view here. Of what we kind of need for the story. I definitely want this island in here. We can get a little bit of this in here and that'll be fine. Yeah, I think that'll work. That gives us a fairly good amount of area that we can start filling out in terms of details. But yeah, I got the names. Not all of them. I still think there's probably about 19 countries that need names on the world. But that's still pretty good. What was the other thing I got done? Oh, I've been doing some work on trying to like make a flag for Allegan for the Republic, which has been difficult because obviously I don't want the iconography to be the exact same. You know, I don't want to have just the tricolors. So I got to figure out some sort of different iconography. I've come up with this as kind of like a preliminary like idea. I'm not sure if I like it or not. It's kind of up there as it's an idea. It's an idea. It's a version 1. Flags are probably my worst in terms of world building. I'm pretty bad at them, so it'll take a while for that to be finalized. Swamp, where would I find it? What do you mean? In terms of, are you talking about like in terms of placing down a swamp on a map? Like where would a swamp be located, or what? Well, there's a couple of different ways that you can get a swamp. And it also depends on how specific you're getting with what a swamp is. Because if you're talking like, you know, a bog or something like that, that colloquially can be called a swamp, and those can appear in various other areas. But for an actual swamp, which kind of has like trees and like the growing out of it and kind of standing water, and it's kind of like that, you need lowlands with a high water table. Usually like a water table that that is pretty heavily affected by either like tides or like seasonal variances in water like levels. So like it wouldn't be here because the latitude's wrong, and also it's got to be kind of like it can be kind of in a colder environment, but those are more like boggish areas. It'd be somewhere more tropical, or at least somewhat not humid, but somewhat warm most of the year. But like you'd like for inland swamps, like the confluences of two large rivers are good places to have swamps because those confluences can kind of erode back and kind of especially if it was like a lowland area or near large rivers. Lowland areas can be swampish. If it's near the coastline, you'd want places that are lowlands already, so like just generally low in relation to the average height of like the ocean level. So like water can come in and out, or it flows out at a higher rate. So you want something that is low, so that there's a lot of water that kind of rises up, so that you have trees. Because one of the defining features of a swamp is that trees that are where the root systems are kind of the structure of them, and the roots kind of dig into the ground, but there's still quite a lot of root system above ground level. But the water level is sometimes above that. So that's kind of what, if you get what I'm saying. Like it's you want some place that's got some low-lying areas and a high variance of water level. So confluences of large rivers, like coastal lowlands are good for that. Like there's a reason that there's a lot of swamps in like Louisiana or Georgia, because they have some lowlands near like rivers and coastlines and that kind of stuff. That's what you'd be looking for. Okay, I'm good with this map as it is right now in terms of the size to this. So we're going to go ahead and start our journey here, and we're going to draw out the coastline. So first things first, we're gonna layer settings. We're gonna rename this. We're just gonna coastline. Probably should put a space in there, but fuck it. I hope that answered that question, Conley. Okay, so let's get this going. Let's put down a standard black line. Get our G pen going with about a 5-bit there. Okay, now get used to moving this again. Okay, there we go. It's been a little bit since I've had to use my tablet. Alright, now we just start doing the basic tracing of this. Great wonders. Are you talking like stuff like the pyramids and Stonehenge and stuff like that? See, when you're tracing stuff like this, it doesn't need to be an exact thing, because world maps obviously take liberties when it comes to details of coastlines, so you can kind of get away with some differences in the actual coasts on your regional maps to your world map. Nothing like too big, but minor stuff like variances along the coast. When you say great wonders, what do you mean? Then I can answer you, because if you're talking, because that can mean different things depending on what you're talking about. Now we get to some relaxing drawing right now. Okay. This will probably be the easiest part of this. I wish I knew I could put like other things than like this kind of music on, because I would love to keep up to date on listening to some actual play D&D games. And I have the want to continue, but I don't know if I'll get like a strike or something on the stream, so I don't want to do that. You're still going to have to be more specific, Conley. I'm not sure what you mean by great wonders. Are you talking like... You talking like terrain for me? Like the Grand Canyon? Or are you more talking about stuff like the Great Pyramids? Like, I don't... Clip Studio's having a bit of a hiccup. Both? Well, if you're talking like... I'm not sure what's going on with Clip Studio. Just have to let it work through that. Well, for like man-made, or I guess like stuff made by civilization, that's really up to the civilization. Like, you know, the Great Pyramids, and I'm just gonna save this in my world map stuff. There we go. It's better. It was having a hiccup. I saved it to make sure I didn't lose all the progress of shaping and making sure I got the right view. But like, yeah, the Great Pyramid stuff, like all that's dependent on the civilization. You know, the reason why the Great Pyramids of Giza were made there is because the ruling class of the Egyptian, like the pharaohs, had their capital in Giza, and it was a very big thing for their religion. You know, there was that's also why I'm trying to think of the other great wonders. You know, for some reason I'm not coming up with any. You know, it would depend on like religious stuff, like where like you have a holy site in a religion in your world, that would constitute an area that there'd probably be some sort of like big construction, or at least some sort of monument. Or if, you know, in the case of like Stonehenge, that nobody really knows why it was made there, but it's also probably geographical because of the its specific position in terms of it was probably some way of keeping time. It was probably like some sort of timekeeping monument, and that location was good for that, they found out. If you're talking like great wonders terrain-wise, like that's really broad, because it just depends on a lot of factors whether or not something is a great wonder. You know, there's probably ancient civilizations of Native Americans that thought like Mount McKinley was some sort of great wonder to their religion or to their mythos, like their origin myth. You know, but on the grand scheme of the world, it doesn't really matter too much. So, you know, it just kind of, and I'm not saying that as a derogatory thing towards them, I'm saying that just as, you know, in comparison, So, there's a reason, the reason Mount Everest is a big deal is because, well, it's the biggest one, but that doesn't necessarily mean it was a big deal to everybody at all, like all the time, So, again, it's perspective. Highly based in like religion and origin myths and the mythology of whoever lives there. And it could, and also just the demeanor of the individuals living there. I forget what it was. I think New York or Manhattan was, or no, it wasn't Manhattan. It was the body of water between Manhattan and the mainland. And the local tribes of natives just called it. Had a label for it that just basically meant it was like a short trip. It was an obstacle. It wasn't a big thing. So whether like great wonders and stuff like grounded in reality, it very much depends on the culture, their mythology, their origin myth, and what they have as reference. There's a big deal in like Greek mythology was the I forget the mountain specifically that on the top of it were all the gods, but that mountain's really not that much. It's not that big, and when you compare it to the world, but it was a huge deal for the Greeks because that was kind of the biggest mountain they knew about, and that's where they kind of placed their gods in their mythology. So yeah, it's highly subjective where you would put stuff like that. And also, if magic's in the picture, then all bets are off. You can kind of do whatever you want, in all honesty. Alright. Alright, I'm hoping this isn't copywritten. It's an original soundtrack, so we're gonna hope. Normally, there's not a lot of lyrics in original soundtracks. Or in game soundtracks. But this is Firewatch. I've actually knocked out a script to this soundtrack before. Like this and Surviving Mars. Very nice to listen to for creativeness. It's just relaxing. It kind of makes you... It wants you... I don't know. It kind of feels like it wants you to drive forward. Which is kind of the reason why you want to listen to game soundtracks when you're working, because they really help drive your creativity and focus your mind a lot, which is good for me, because even though I've never been actually diagnosed with it, I'm fairly certain I have some sort of ADD. Alright. But yeah, how's everybody doing? Having a good day? Okay. So that's that central landmass. It's been traced. Let's get this upper landmass here done. We're going to do a second pass through here to put more detail on the coastline at like a mid-zoom level. And then once we do that, we can start working on contours again, then rivers, etc. with more detail, so we'll have smaller rivers and smaller delineations and more finite delineations between contours. So we got like hilly regions that are shown in more detail, that kind of stuff. And hopefully we can actually get to like laying down symbols and stuff like that. Like I said, it doesn't need to be exact with this. We're going to go do a second pass through anyways to make it look a little bit better. Just needs to be close. Okay, we got that. Let's get this. We'll get this island here. Oh, was that the last of the... Yeah, it was the last of the Firewatch ones. Okay. Oh, screw me. Albums, let's put on... let's put on the Surviving Mars one. There we go. Yeah. Surprised we've already been going for a half hour according to this then. That's... Huh. Time flies, I guess. Alright. Since a few other people have shown up since we started, the plan for today is I am making a map of the local region of the area I'm setting my story in, so I have a more detailed map to go with. And right now I'm tracing the coastline of the world map I made at this higher resolution, so I have a better idea. Or, well, I'm tracing it so that then I can go back for a second pass, make it a bit more detailed. And then we're going to redo the map in a higher fidelity at this more local scale. Hello, Andronus. How are you doing today? Okay. Okay, we got that. Now we got one more landmass to do, and then we can lay down the continent color. That's good. Conley, you mean like where would like a ruined old city be discovered or not discovered? Like you got to be more detailed with these requests. It's hard to know what you're specifically talking about. I don't have context. Yeah, well, if you're just waking up now, Andronus, then yeah, I can understand why you're tired. It doesn't really help me, Conley. I don't... just saying lore doesn't give me anything to work with on that question. I don't know what you mean. I myself drink tea, so I'm having myself a nice cup of Earl Grey. I'm actually having Earl Grey. Earl Grey hot, just like Picard. messed that up. Was looking at the chat. You guys go to 30 brush. There we go. Heat frontier as well. Normally go with the store brand black. My pot is currently down, and I'm not a fan of brewing in my coffee pot. See, I don't actually have to worry about that with mine because I have a the water in our I live in the country, so the water in our place, our well, isn't good to drink because of all the pesticides and stuff with the local fields. But so to counteract that, we have a dispenser, so it uses those big 5-gallon jugs, but instead of being a top-down gravity fed, it's actually actively fed and plugged in, which means it comes with a hot and cold water tap on it, and the hot water tap is just below boiling, it feels like. So I can literally just go downstairs, put a tea bag in my cup, and pour almost boiling hot water on demand into my cup, and wait 5 minutes and it's brewed. So I'm kind of lucky when it comes to that. Yeah, it's really good. We kind of needed one, or else we wouldn't have any. Well, I mean, we were using those little 1-gallon dispensers that we could pick up for about a year, but we got that, and we've had it ever since. It's really, really nice. And we get a discount on the jugs once we if we bring the used ones in, so it's not too bad. It's really nice for hot brewed drinks. I don't have to worry about that. And Conley, that's not a sentence. You just typed in there. I don't know what you're asking or talking about. All right. Just my luck, we have the most complex coast. And Conley, if English isn't your first language, I understand, but it's still not helping. I don't mean to be rude. I can barely speak English sometimes. Because I'm willing to answer your question. I just need to know exactly what you're asking. Okay. Almost done with the tracing portion of this. We might have some islands to go ahead and add. All right. We're almost there. Okay, we got that. Let's get this little island. provide more detail with it later. I just need to get all the coastline blocked out for right now. Okay, we got, alright, that looks good. Nah, most Americans have regional accents. You know, it works. Okay. So we got that. Always doing this to myself, damn it. Okay, so we got that. Now, we need to go in and do some cleanup and some detailing of the coastlines here. So, first things first, let's get rid of this little tag there. Maybe, but I think we'll be all right. Okay. That's going to be like a lake. Let's actually do some coastline stuff. We've got a decent amount. We can zoom in here. So let's think about adding some where the hell's the... Nope. There we go. Bring this down a little bit. 6. Let's erase this to add something there. Let's redo. Maybe bring that up just a little bit so we can get the line in one go. I'm gonna redo this a little. A little bit there. Okay. Alright, let's make this like a little bay right there. This is gonna be a little bit of something right there. Not a lot, just a little bit. Like areas where, because map makers aren't uniform in terms of their detail, especially like in the, like before computers. Areas that were more frequented were much higher detail than areas that weren't. So I'm assuming, so I'm thinking like there's probably going to be a city here, there's probably going to be like a big coastal port, or at least the built up area around this way. This is definitely going to attract some sort of large city on this peninsula because it makes for ease of shipping and trade. So we're just going to go through here, and then we're going to kind of hook it in a little bit and make like a really fine, I want to make like a super fine little bit of land going out. And then we're also going to go ahead and put a little bit there. So we got a little bit extra going there, and that wouldn't show up on like a world map scale, so that's good to put there. Okay, and up here I tried doing this early, but we need to go ahead and make this a little bit better. So let's erase this. Gonna bring this back a bit. Okay, and then we're gonna go out this way a little bit. Come back around. Connect up. So we got like a little hook there. Okay, now let's think. A couple of smaller islands are gonna exist on the map. That's a definite thing. So let's put like a little one. Like a little horseshoe one right there. A couple of small little offshoots here. This little formation off the coast should definitely be something they'd settle quickly. Okay. Got that. I'm looking at the coast and the island. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that I can think of to put in. We don't want to overdo it with the detail. Well, Conley, it sounds like you already have an idea in your head. I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like, I'm not going to draw a map for you of it. Not for free, anyways. Okay. Yeah, that definitely disappears at the upper end. Yeah, that's good. I think that's enough in terms of detail. We can add a couple of smaller coastal islands. Like along the coast, obviously. Good evening. Well, for me, it's afternoon. But, hello anyway, Cursar. Okay, I like that. Now, let's think on this. Let's go to this upper area. Try and, kind of work out where certain things would be. Definitely going to add some more detail here. How are you doing, Cursar? Good, I hope. This area is rife for some extra detail. Couple weeks off work. Hey, that's great. I myself am still technically unemployed, even though I suppose this is my job. Or at least one of the hats I wear. Okay, and then this one's definitely got to get some redesigned. Well, today, Cursor, we're just we're making a regional map for the Algan Republic, like, region. So, yeah, we're doing this map. We've basically made a new canvas. It's almost as large as the previous one. So we've retraced all the coastlines, and now we're just adding detail. Yeah, that's basically it. We're getting the regional map done. Includes getting the coastlines a little bit more detailed. As I previously stated, like, before the time of computers, details were... You could see maps were more detailed in areas people frequented. So, like, areas around port cities, high-trafficked regions of the ocean and the coastline and stuff like that. Those were super detailed, while areas that weren't kind of under-detailed. So, kind of going through and I'm seeing where I think, like, a port city would be, or where I think, like, there'd be more reason to have extra, like, detail. I'm erasing the previously drawn, like, line, and I'm putting extra in. So, you know, just a bit. But yeah, we're going in, we're just redetailing everything. We're going to draw out the contours again with the more finite detail in the contours, placing down roads, cities, all that kind of stuff, working out names and labels. And we're going to make this like a regional map centered around the Algan Republic, but, you know, giving all of these a little bit as well. Not like a road map, but, you know, general idea. If I wanted to do a road map area, it would be something like this. Like, I'd probably shrink the map down or expand the map up to something like this. But I want to have the Umbra Isle in as well. So that's what we're doing. So let's see here. Definitely going to be some sort of city here. Let's make some detail and some navigational hazards along this coastline. Get that, just like a little offshoot area. And in this area, we're gonna have a couple of inlets. Little peninsula going through there. We're also gonna have a couple of coastal islands, small ones, but there. We're going to go ahead and erase that. It's a bit Suggestive. Yeah, some of those. Some of those. Those are more geographical, and those might show up on a regional map. I mean, there's a couple, I think. Like, there's this one down here I put on the Umbra Isle that I think looks... It's not completely cut off, but it's good. Yeah, we want to have just some extra detail, especially around like areas that would be a capital. So there's going to be a lot of extra detail on this little peninsula up here because there's I mean this like this whole landmass, because there's a whole bunch of individual like regional states that have their own capitals of this like federation. I mean, not all of them have to be bays or anything, just like a little bit extra, like an indent there. We can even go ahead and, because this is such a small nation, we can add a little bit extra detail to the coastline, just a little bit, just like a little bit of variance there. Break it up a bit. This is a major river exit, so we're going to add a little bit here. It would probably also be the space for a large city, so... We're going to say that the river actually exits a bit upstream, and then this is like salt and... is probably like salt and freshwater mixing before it gets all the salt water out here. So just a little bit of extra, a little bit of cut in there. Here, let's definitely see like a small regional river like coming out through here. This little indent might be something. Just a little bit, nothing too much here. Gonna make that like an actual closed bay, or almost closed bay there, which makes kind of sense. It's a little bit of mountainous terrain, this like microstate, so that kind of works. Okay, there's already the indications of some sort of like peninsula here, so let's give this a more detailed appearance. And then let's also go ahead and make this like little offshoot bit of land something interesting. Yeah, wouldn't show up on a world map, but it would definitely show up on a regional map. So let's get this peninsula. Kind of something like that. Craggy. Okay, and this ended off on like a sharp point, so let's keep that sharp point going. And let's some space here, so I'll actually show up when we fill in here. Okay, we got that, and let's go ahead and draw a couple of islands in like a chain here. There we go, so that's like a large bay that exists. And I don't think this city, I don't think this would have like an interesting like bay or coastline or anything like that, or like that, but we're gonna make it like detailed because it's its own, it's a very small area, and maybe it's like a trade city or something like that. It's frequented a lot, so we're just gonna give it some variance here. Just a little bit. Maybe a little bay right at the coast. Yeah, that could be it. It might not necessarily, because that would make actually, you know what? Could kind of work if we do like a. I was gonna say it wouldn't necessarily make sense because the major city or the major like area that a city would be in the bay would be in another nation, but we could make like this area another bay, so there's like a smaller inlet or something, so that these would make sense as like fortresses or protection. You could do something like a potentially goes out a bit more. You got something like that. And it works out. Then, and I'm out of tea. Okay. Mm-hmm. Definitely. Definitely would, Cursar. Let's detail this up a little bit. I'll detail that up just a little bit. It's a little indent, so we'll just make it like a little thing like that. Not a lot. Doesn't need a lot. You don't need a lot. Just a bit. Definitely see this being a local river outlet. So let's do this. Let's do that. And this one will actually make we're not going to do too many of those because those are somewhat rare, and again, the human tendency to want uniformity or repeating things kind of needs to be overcome. Yeah, this is comparable to the whole of Europe. If we hold on, do I have it here somewhere? Not that one. If we open this up, this is, I'll make that a little easier to spot. This is, hold on, can I get rid of the sea contours? Does that make it easier to spot? Yeah. Okay, so this is the actual world, and this is my project in terms of scaling. So this takes up let's see, that takes up a 3 by 3 grid of squares. Yeah, it's about on par with Europe. It's pretty close. It's pretty close. If you include Scandinavian stuff with Europe and the Mediterranean, then yeah, it's on par. So yeah, that's where we're currently at in terms of scaling. Which is why I'm going to be less detailed than on this peninsula. I want to do that just because I think this would be like a high trade zone, so that kind of stuff. We are going to put in a couple of more islands because that kind of stuff is very common in these kinds of regional maps. that wouldn't be in a world map. Just some like tiny islands off the coast that could be detriments to trading. There can be. There can definitely be enough islands. That is a full statement. There can definitely be too many islands. It really just depends on your on the scale of your map, in all honesty. Because if you keep zooming down and down to the coastline, you'll find thousands of islands along a coast, but are they important is the real thing you got to think about when you're making maps like this. Is what you're putting down important to whoever this map is supposed to be for? And I'm thinking this is a regional map, so it could be used for like navigation, and because it's like the 1910s, 1920s era of technology, a lot of places would still be using a lot of boat traffic, and because there's this big inland sea, they would need to know about islands, ports, and a lot of stuff like that. So keep that in mind. I mean, if I was really going to do this and I wanted to have like a lot of super detail on the map, I'd do this in a vector-based program. I'd get like Affinity Designer or something out, learn that, and then I can use that to trace out the landmass and have infinite scroll detail. Like I could just keep scrolling in, there'd be no pixels. It would just, because a vector-based program uses mathematics instead of pixel placement for its drawing. But I don't really need that. So I'd like it, but I don't need it. Okay. Yeah, you definitely could do that with the vector-based program. Now, it would probably, like, if you zoomed out and you were exporting it like as like a country scale, that coastline would just look like hot garbage. It'd just be a whole bunch of super insane detail scrunched down to the to the pixel on the export, because you got to export it and you can't read something in vector. You have to export it in a normal like PNG or something like that. So that's the thing with maps like this. You need to know your scale and know when to put the detail in, and what details to put in. So yeah, I like this. I don't need to put any extra in there. That's just like we'll just say that's like just an inlet there. I like that. Definitely gonna have some sort of island in this bay here, because I think that'd be cool. Something like that. See, now I'm thinking. Now I'm trying to think. It's not good for me. I shouldn't be think. Shouldn't be think. I'm a fucking idiot. Okay, this has been bothering me. There are these two little dots on my world map that I missed when I made the original one. So I wanted that to kind of work with the regional map. So how am I going to do that? Maybe that could be like an maybe this could be like a very big port. Maybe this whole area is just port cities and shit. Yeah, I mean, it's an island nation and it's fantasy, so we're going to do that. Why not? It doesn't have to be grounded in total reality. Thinking's not bad. I'm just an idiot and say things wrong. Let's say that's like, or no, let's say this is artificial. So that'd be very uniform, because humans are pattern seekers and we like uniformity. So let's say that just goes out in a curve like that. And then let's say See, it was created from normal islands. Kind of along this way. And then this kind of goes in a little bit. Say there's an island there, so that's like a super protected port. That'd definitely be like where a navy would exist. And we're just going to make sure that this is actually connected so that when I fill in the actual map area, it won't be super difficult. Not necessarily the Netherlands. The Netherlands has a lot of like a lot of their coastline is not necessarily for like trade and naval like stuff. It's more for just reclaiming the land. I don't think. Actually, I did have an idea that the Umbral Isle was sort of lowland area, so there was a lot of swamps and stuff on it. So maybe a bit of Netherlands, but yeah, no, I got you, Cursar. But those aren't super common, like in the world. Those are more often than not they are like they're like humanity's come in and like made that better. Like the nature made something, and then they came in and humans thought, oh, this is good, let's do more of that, and they kind of made it better. It's kind of how that usually goes. So yeah, that's big. And I mean, on this scale of this map, that's a humongous bay. That is a humongous project, but I think that kind of works. It's fantasy, so it's kind of like this big project, and who knows, maybe they are in the middle of expanding this like southern one out, so they have a single inlet to this like protected bay. That, I don't know, maybe it's their like primary naval yard or something. That makes sense. Okay, now let's keep going here. Yeah, a few of those exist in the Baltic, but they were reinforced and kind of in times of. I'm trying to. Why am I blanking on words? In the past, they've been reinforced and they've been modified by humanity. They do exist, and I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm just saying they're very rare as a rule. You don't want to have a lot of those just to be in existence. So let's modify this. It's not special anymore if you just make a whole bunch of them, you know? We'll have that. Damn thing. Okay. So now we're on the northern Algan coast. Come to like a sharp point. You could even have like a fort or something on there, or maybe not a fort, but maybe a monument in the story. It's going to be North Point because it's the furthest north of. Actually, is it the furthest north of Algan? Actually, I just thought of like a funny little world building thing. There could be two North Points. They both claim to be the northern point of Algan. Because that kind of shit happens, like in real life. Like somebody made it, and then it's like a town and a community and has come and sprout around it, and then a feud generates between the two like towns because they're both trying to like take the same tourist base. But we are going to go ahead and I do like the idea that there's a couple of small isles here and there. Along the coastline. Okay. Okay. Get that going. Okay. Yeah, we got that. Let's make this little bit of coast a little bit more detailed. A bit more variance in the coast itself. Okay. How long have we been going for? Wow, already an hour and a half. That's amazing. I'm always surprised at how quickly these streams go by. It feels like I've only been doing this for about 20 minutes. I don't know if that's a commentary that, oh, I would normally get this much work done in 20 minutes instead of an hour and a half, or I'm just having fun. Hopefully it's the latter. Hopefully I'm just having fun. Okay. Get that going. By the way, Kursar, because you have a lot of opinions and stuff on this. Do you world build a lot as a hobby? And also, were you already a viewer on the channel for the game content, and this just coincided with your hobby, or did you find the channel because of this and these streams? Definitely get rid of that little misstroke there. Okay. Make that outlet a little bit more detailed. Ah, well, it's good to know. Glad there's a bit of crossover there, given the fact that world building is one of my hobbies. I have made quite a few over the years. Right. Got a bit of that. Alright, I don't really want to have a lot of ports down south here, but I definitely want to have more detail along this coast. Just for how craggy it is, I kind of want it to look a bit better. Oh, no problem, Andronus. I love that series. It's so it's so bad. I mean, it's great, but it's so bad that it only he only puts out a video every other month for it. I understand why, because that's got to be so much work to do that. But yeah, it's such a great little series. Yeah, he does really great language videos too. He's a great guy. And the guy he had help him make the world that his Alien Biosphere series is set on in the first episode, Artifexian, is also really great. He does a lot of really nice world building videos where he covers a lot more varied subjects. Like, he goes over a lot of things. Yes, Cursar, yes. I'm not sure how to pronounce the guy's channel for the Alien Biosphere or Biology one, but yeah, that one definitely. It's a really great series. I linked it in my Discord during last stream because it was a series that I was very impressed by. You know what? We might redraw all the coast with that kind of detail. We might set our zoom at 150% and just do the detail from here. I think we might go ahead and do that, just so it's a bit more uniform, because I am not liking the differences between like the detailed sections on like this really broad stroke that I made from like at a 90% zoom. I think we might do that. It'll take some time, but I think it'll look better. What do you guys think? Should I go with redrawing the coast in that kind of detail that's on the screen right now, or should I stick with just picking out areas of detail? I'll use this time to take a drink. Hey, I think I'll redraw it. I'll do it in sections, but I think we're going to redraw it. It's not that big of a deal. It's not going to be a lot of work. Especially since we've gotten a decent amount of like the bays and areas I liked already done. And yeah, I'm keeping in mind 150% zoom is where we're going to work from now on for this coastline. I think that is good. I kind of broke that rule. When you're trying to draw details on a map, it pays to remember and work out a specific zoom level to work from. So you don't like zoom in really far, do a lot of detail, and then zoom out to like a viewing area and it just be gobbledygook. It'd just be too small. I think 150 zoom's fine, because at 6K by 4K resolution, 150 zoom level is totally reasonable for somebody to be looking at this map at. So, okay, got that. A little bit of a variance going on here. Coast. Oop, didn't mean to do that drawing. Okay, we'll redo this. Is somebody calling me right now? Yeah, I will be right back, guys. I'm going to mute my microphone. I got to take this call. Alright, guys, I'm back. I just had a call from my dad. Apparently, he picked up lunch, and he's going to be on his way home here pretty soon. So, oh well. I'll eat on stream, I guess. Didn't plan for that. Speaking of like Artifexian and like the world building part of YouTube and stuff, I wish I was half as smart or talented as those guys. I wish I could make some of the stuff they make. That's very true, Andronus. I might get more of a following eating live, but the thing is, I'm not on webcam. So, kind of missing out on that revenue stream there. Alright, there we go. Nah, he's in Gerard, so he's got maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes before he even gets here, so might just do a 2-hour stream. Not sure yet. Not sure if I'll actually eat on stream or not. Because I hate the sound of people eating in my ears, so I don't want to subject anybody else to that. Also, I can't actually do this while I'm eating, because I kind of require the use of my primary hand. I wonder if that's like, I guess it's muscle memory. I have like, I keep wanting to like move the my cursor back and forth to erase, even though that literally does nothing. Such silly learned behaviors. See, it's not nostalgia for me, Andrews, because I still use pencil and paper a lot. When I'm concepting out like world designs and stuff, that's my primary medium. Is I draw it by hand, because that's kind of how I learned how to draw maps, was just on paper. So up until recently, when I wanted to make a map, that's where I'd start. I'd get my sketch pad out, I'd get my eraser, and I get my pencil, and I just draw out 3 or 4 different designs for like land masses and stuff, and basic mountain designs. I mean, they didn't look nice, but they existed. But that's what I do. In fact, this world map, for this project, this is the first map I have done that was that is my own, that has 100% been designed, been 100% made on the computer. I at no point used any other medium to do it, or program. This is 100% designed on the computer and drawn by hand with my pen and tablet. I do have to say, just moving the cursor and erasing like this is much more satisfying. Yeah, that's about on par with me, Andrews. 2 or 3 I normally get going. Just kind of what I do. I do wish I had learned how to actually draw when I was younger, because I'm actually very horrible at art. I cannot draw to save my life. But the only thing I'm decent at when it comes to like translating what's in my head to what's to on paper is maps. I don't know why, it's just what I do, but everything else is super hard for me, and I just can't do it. So I've never been able to actually draw. Which really sucks, because I would love to be able to do that kind of stuff. I'd love to be able to draw out my, like what I have in mind for anything, like in my world. But I have to use programs that kind of do most of the work for me to really do it, which kind of sucks because I'm very limited in that sense. Yeah, hairy lines, that's a thing. Not much of a thing on the computer when you're working in a program like this. You just have a sketch layer and then you kind of do your lines above it. See, I didn't even have that, Andrews. About the most I could do was basic stick figures for a very, very long time. And I think the problem is, and we're starting to go back, we're starting to go into therapy time with Roach. I think the biggest problem is I was super into art when I was really young. And I recall I was okay at it. I wasn't great, but I was okay. But I recall I had this fucking art teacher. I forget her name, but she was a witch of a woman, with a W for YouTube's sake in terms of censorship. And if you don't know, I'm left-handed, so I do everything with my left hand. I am useless with my right hand. She didn't like that. Kept trying to force me to use my right hand, because this was in a place and time when that was still something people did. And also, she would just hound me every single time I did something, and I did it wrong, according to her, and it would just like really take the wind out of me. And after that teacher, I had some really great teachers for art classes and stuff that kind of helped me a bit, but after that I was just super downtrodden when it came to doing my art. So I kind of just stopped, and that's kind of what happened, which really sucks. Therapy with Ruth might be interesting. Yeah, it might be interesting. Yeah, it does suck. It does suck. It was more predominant. Like, I don't think it's a thing anymore, but it was fairly predominant, like down south in like the backcountry areas. People would try and like, and especially with like the older teachers and stuff, they'd try and like force you to write with your right hand, because that's just going to be easier if you know how to do that. You know, nothing's made for you if you're using your left hand. Well, fuck you. Yes, you're right. I can't use scissors to save my life, but now I also have the worst handwriting possible, because I got basically half of my teaching was done on one hand and the other and half on the other, and I just I can't collate them in my mind. So my handwriting is absolutely atrocious and barely eligible because of that. But yeah, I think that teacher fucked me when it came to my artistic side, which I guess this is art. I guess I have friends that tell me this is basically art, but I don't know. I guess I have a very narrow definition of what art is. Yeah, I can't be ambidextrous. My right hand is useless. It is absolutely useless. Oh, wow, my music's... Sometimes I forget that I've got the music going. I just kind of lose it. Let's get another Surviving Mars. Well, that's the radio. Do we have anything else related? Well, let's put on the Stellaris track. You think so, Ryan? Like, I don't know. And I'm the one doing it. I just don't know. It's like... Because I don't have to worry about a lot of shit that actual artists have to worry about. You know, like, I'm not dealing with shading. I'm not dealing with, perspective and all that. That's... I can't do that to save my life. I don't know. Then I think a good amount of that's probably imposter syndrome hitting me real hard over the head. I'm just drawing squiggly lines on a canvas. That's what my brain registers it as. But I guess if you're really broad about that, that's all art. Which is kind of insulting to art and artists that can actually do some really great shit. Okay, there we go. Oh, God. Another phone call. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, everybody. Sorry about that. Didn't look like we lost anybody. I had to go ahead and pick up my lunch outside. My dad was good enough to go ahead and pick me up a pork chop sandwich and some Pepsi with a bag of Doritos as my lunch. Which is fine by me. It's about the only time I actually drink soda anymore. So, I'm going to open this up. And I'm going to read what you guys said while I was gone. Bob Roach would not appreciate your self-doubt. You know what, Ryan? I actually... I love Bob Ross. I watch his, like, painting stuff a lot. Like, it's honestly, like, I've been this close, and I don't have a webcam on, so you can't see, but I've got my fingers really close together. This close to buying, like, his paint set thing to try and, like, paint like he does, because of just, like, it's very inspirational. Very inspirational. Imposter syndrome, I know I've had it. It's not a fun thing. I'm just going to leave that up. We're just going to delete the BRB so people know that I am eating on the stream here. I'll just have this sandwich and then we'll get back to it. But, I mean, imposter syndrome's not great. I definitely have had it. And it's just, it just really takes the wind out of your sails. Especially as, like, somebody who's a creative. I know people who make their whole living off of doing, like, art commissions. And they suffer, you know, and they're not living, like, too badly. And they suffer from it. Kind of hits everybody. But that doesn't really prepare you for when it hits you. So, like, I don't know. No real way to get around it. You just kind of have to work through it. You don't need to have been in the room with famous people. You just need to know their works. Or even just somebody who's better than you at something. Because they exist. Or, not even that. You know, even people who are at the top of their game in whatever field they're in, they will probably hit a wall with imposter syndrome at some point. It just happens. It's your mind fucking with you. And the only real way to get around it is just to keep working at it. That's what I've done. Like, I know I'm suffering from it. I think all the crap that I make is horrible. But I keep going for it. Whether it be YouTube. The YouTube was a big one. I still don't know why any of you bastards actually watch me. Then it was with my, like, DMing and stuff for my D&D game, my maps for it, and then my work, like my map working and my world building stuff in general. But you just get through it at one point. At some point, you do something that that your mind can't even refute was good. That's the point. Well, there's no cost of entry for a YouTube channel, so if you If you're wanting to give it a shot, give it a shot. I'm just trying to get through this sandwich so we can actually get back to doing some world building, guys. Hopefully my chewing isn't coming across on the mic, because I know that's annoying for me. Ow, ow, ow. Damn it, Duke. Ow, 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 no. He's been quiet and asleep this whole time, and then as soon as I get some food... Oh, hey, Andronus, if that's what you're doing, that's great. I've never volunteered or done anything like that. Thought about it, but I've never had a chance. I live too far out in the country, so there's none of that kind of stuff. I mean, there's probably still, you know, good, I don't know, 50% of the people here that thinks like D&D and stuff's evil, so probably wouldn't fly anyways. Thank God I'm only an hour away from, like, a moderately large city. So, so that there's at least some people here or that I can go to like, talk about stuff. Yeah, and also the internet, obviously. Alright, we're almost done with this sandwich. Which is a pretty good pork chop sandwich. I've got no idea where he buys these from. Some sort of local, like, street thing he buys every so often. So I guess there's going to be something over in a nearby town that does this. Okay. Alright, we're good now. So. Oh, we can just delete this layer. What the hell am I doing? Where's the delete layer button? There's delete layer. Okay. Go to 150. There we go. Make sure I've cleaned off my damn... Oh, there's a little bit of residue on my pad. I've got from the foil. Could have sworn I had an alcohol wipe or something out here. Oh, hell. Can I give it a nice scrub down? Alright, that's good enough. Let's get back to work. Whew. Okay, yeah. There we go. We're on the right layer. Cool. Sounds like a nice little project. I've never really done anything like that. Well, I've done some, like, I don't do a lot of, like, onboarding or teaching people who've never played before, but I do a lot of, like, demo games for stuff. for the longest time there was since like I think 2014, I think it was it 14? Yeah, 2014. There was a convention in my local, not my local town, but a town nearby. Everybody knows I'm from Illinois. Springfield, the capital. I'm only about an hour away from there. Well, actually, no, I'm a half hour away from there, but it doesn't really matter. And I went there one year, 2015, the second year they were hosted. Got like really into tabletop gaming again, and ever since then, and then I haven't had the convention in a while, but I joined up with a local like group that hosts games across like Central Illinois and everything. And I've done a lot of like I've gotten into certain games, and part of what I do is I'll host demo games for people, or I'll do like big showcase games at conventions, or like local. The group's called CITW, Central Illinois Tabletop Warriors, which is the cringiest name for a group. You'd think it was like filled with 20-year-olds or something, but no, everybody there is like in their at least 40s. I'm the youngest guy there by a far. But like all other CITW meetups in Central Illinois, stuff like that, and that's very rewarding. It's actually a really sad story in a way. One of the guys there this last year passed away. Like he had a heart attack, and he was looking like he was going to get better, but then he passed. But I think the week or two before his heart attack, we had a local meetup where I was putting on a game for the local Springfield meet, and a couple of guys from Bloomington showed up. He was in there. It was a 20mm Moderns game. So I like painted up all the figures, and I had like a full board of terrain, and it was force on force rule set. It was like really great. Played it one week, like a local meet with just at somebody's house with I don't know, about 5 or 6 people there, and then at the actual official meet the week after, everybody loved it. It was a real big hit, and apparently this guy, after playing both games, like he went ahead and he found the rule book, which is out of print, so he paid a premium price for it. He paid like $100 for it. Then he got, I think, Day of the Rangers, which is like the Somalia, like Black Hawk Down scenario booklet, and then bought a whole shitload of Delta Force and U.S. Army Rangers figures, and like Armed Somali Insurgent figures in 20mm, and he bought all this stuff just because he played my games. And he even had like the guy that my local like connection with the group like text me and say damn, tell Roach, damn him, he made me spend $200 on this game, which, you know, that's really good. That made me feel really nice. The sad part of the story is, unfortunately, he never got a chance to actually do anything with it because he passed away about 3 weeks after that. So I guess that's like my biggest memory, and that's the biggest thing. Like getting people into games and stuff, and I'm glad that I gave him that joy beforehand. That's good. That's a memory that's going to stick with me for a while. Is I got somebody so razzed or so like juiced for a game that he went ahead and he spent that much on it, and he wasn't like angry or anything like that. He was legitimately enjoying it, and I really. Yeah, it's one of those things. I'm actually thinking about, because all of his, he had a shitload of tabletop stuff, and his family doesn't need it or anything like that. So I think CATW is hosting like a big swap or buy-up meet or something like that, and I know that stuff's not popular with everybody else, so I might snag it. Get a second rule book and everything like that, and run a game for him, run a Black Hawk Down scenario for him. I think that would be a really nice send-off on the next meetup when we have in-person events again, if I can do so. Yeah, Yeah, I don't get to play as much as I would like to either. Andronus, last game I played as a player in was, holy shit. I think it would have to be, Ben's game. Yeah, it'd have to be Coswin, I think. Maybe not either Coswin or that one session of Star Trek Adventures that Bob ran. Like that would be, I think that has to be the only other one. But the last campaign I played in was as Coswin. Yeah, Andronus, yeah, Star Trek, yeah. I actually ran a game of that for some local, like, for friends. Some, like, for, not local friends, but the other friends, like, another friends, you know, you have different friends groups. Not YouTubers or anything like that. Yeah, thanks, Ryan. I hope he would, too. I'm thinking if I can snag his stuff, because, in all honesty, I'm not very, financially secure, so I don't want to have to buy all of it. But if I can snag the stuff he got, I could definitely put on a game of Black Hawk Down that he wanted to play easily enough, and I think that'd be a really nice thing. And maybe we could, I'm thinking maybe if I run it at a convention or something like that, we could have like a donation for CITW or his family or something like that. That might not go ahead. I'd have to talk with the leadership of the actual like group. And work that out, but at least at a CITW meet, which are very informal and don't have like prices or anything like that, definitely run a game of that in his name. I think that'd be fun and a nice send-off. But that'd be like, that's something I'm thinking about. I haven't really talked that out with anybody else. I'd have to talk with Dan. He's the local like Springfield chapter like leader or whatever he is. I don't know. And work that out. I don't think that's gonna, because I think all of his stuff was already given over to somebody else who's a part of the group. And they're to be sold or given out or anything like that. I know he had some stuff that was like bequeathed to other people in the group, like some of his items. So I think they know. I don't think they're going to donate just all of that stuff, because he had a lot, and a lot of out of print stuff too. Like there's some good gems in his that was inside of his hobby space, including like I think 4 years of Wargame Illustrated subscription magazines, and just a whole bunch of stuff that's actually really nice. Wargames Illustrated is a great magazine for tabletop gaming, historical tabletop gaming at least. But yeah, going back, because there is a delay, so we're kind of like doing a conversation. I'm going into something, and then you guys bring me back. Yeah, the Star Trek game, it actually, like, I've figured it out. Like, that Star Trek game is dense as hell. But I did run a game of it not too long ago. It was during it happened concurrently with my Sleeping Giants campaign. It didn't live stream it. They weren't YouTubers or anything like that. It was just a whole bunch of like friends that I've had on Discord for a while, that are kind of running different crowds. But we had a fairly like detailed game going. It was pretty fun. Star Trek Adventures can be pretty good. It kind of petered out because people had to bow out and stuff like that, which happens with games that you don't have like an investment of like finances or stuff like that in. But we had fun. I think we even made like a lot of like extra material for it. Like I went the extra mile and made things like I made sure everything was like themed around episodes, and it was like a season of Star Trek, like a spin-off show. Where is that at? Do I have all this stuff? Where's it at? Yeah, okay, yeah. So, so like we went as far as to like made this so this if it'll load this always happens with this new picture viewer for Windows 10. Let's try it again. There we go. Like I even made like this backing plate for our Roll20 group. So it was Star Trek. It was Star Trek, and the ship's name was the USS Sterling. So Star Trek Sterling, and like and like the DS9 styling, which I thought looked pretty cool. And, you know, every ship dedication plaque has a quote from somebody, and I thought the Eleanor Roosevelt would be like the Sterling's quote. So that was kind of cool. Do I have the rest of these? I had like episode titles. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so episode 1, Old Ships, New Tricks. Episode 2 of The Wounded and Worn. Episode 3, No Man's Land. Like that's as far as we got, but it was fun. Like I put a lot of effort into that campaign for Star Trek Adventures. That was fun. So yeah, that's a look into my non-YouTube hobby, or I guess like tabletop life there. That's like the only other game I've run recently that wasn't Sleeping Giants. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, people bow out of games way too much, Anginus. But what are you gonna do, right? People's got lives. Can't force them to sit down at that table as much as I would wish I could. Or at the screen inside most of my game's case. You know, the thing is, I've never actually run a game, like, in person. Of any tabletop game. I've never run an in-person game. Never had the ability to. All of my stuff's been online since I started playing tabletop games. Ever since I started playing Darkest Heresy, first edition. Not Darkest Heresy, Dark Heresy. Ugh. You couldn't ruin online for me forever, Anginus. You just... Because it's necessary. It's a necessary, and it's just a part of... Kind of... It's just a part of gaming now. You know, it's something that that's existed for a while. And it's just become a part of gaming in general. And I got into it kind of on the ground floor when it started being a thing, because this when I started playing Dark Heresy online with people, this was before like most of the current virtual tabletop programs existed, as far as I know, or at least were popular. So I don't even remember the program we were using before. I think it still exists, but you like you hosted the game on your own computer. You designed everything. It had some functionality with like D20, but definitely not the D100 system Dark Heresy used. Like Roll20 didn't exist. It was its own thing. I don't even remember. I don't know. I think was it RPG Tool? I think it was RPG Tool or something like that. Because I still use one of their programs, because they had a whole bunch of programs for this, and I think they have a thing called Token Tool, which I still have on my computer. I don't even know if it exists anymore as its own program, but I have Token Tool. And I think they're the one they used for. I think what we used was RPG Tools or something like that. And that was like, or it was a part of the same like overall company or people that made the program. But I think that was what we used to play Dark Heresy back in the day. Was from those people. I'm not sure if it still exists. But yeah, that was something. That was old school. I don't even remember what year did Dark Heresy come out. The original Dark Heresy from Black Industries, which I had a copy of. I had a copy of the Black Industries print Dark Heresy book. And then it got wet and ruined, and I had to get rid of it. And then I had to buy the Fantasy Flight reprint when they took over the licensing of it, which sucked. I remember that was a big deal back in the day when in the 40K community when Dark Heresy came out. It was the first 40K RPG, like dedicated made RPG for 40K, and people were all over that. Like people were making videos and reviews of it and everything, and people were so hyped. I think the first character I made on there was and played in, because it was also, I didn't GM back then. The first game I ever played at Dark Heresy was one I played in, and it was like I think I played I played a tech priest, a Voidborn tech priest. I don't even remember his name, but yeah, that was fun. My music's still going, right? Oh yeah, I haven't even gotten a third of the way through it yet. Okay, just making sure. It was just a lull between tracks. Yeah, the Only War Game Enginist was pretty fun. That was something. Truth be told, though, I don't think it would have. It could have even gone longer than what we played of it. Knowing the proclivity of Bob to end things he got bored with, regardless of other people's opinions. So that probably would have just ended the same way that a lot of the series that we played kind of ended. Yeah, Ben's a character. His characters are characters too. Ben embraces the idea. He embraces the Travis Willingham mindset of if you got a bad stat, play into it. And Ben does, for good or bad. I kind of wish that our campaign with Ben didn't end the way it did. And kind of peter out the way it did. Well, I guess it ended with a bang, but still. I wish it had kept going so that Coswin could have been freed of his stone prison by his sister. And we could have finished off an actual campaign. I am determined to finish, like, actually get through, like, the whole, like, story of Sleeping Giants. I've got it all ready, like, in my head. Not everything's written down, but I've got everything in my head. I know where it's going. I know where it's going to be. We're finishing that campaign. I don't know when, but it'll happen. I mean, some of his characters weren't great, Andronus. Like whatever his, I think his android in Starfinder didn't really work. He played into the bad stat, but there was that campaign had a problem with just people kind of working with each other in terms of trying to make a coherent party. So it kind of just fell apart after a while. All right. Sorry, guys, just taking a break to finish off this Pepsi. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about, Andres. I like Sleeping Giants. Has been a campaign setting and story idea I've had since high school, and I've tried running it. I think 4 or 5 times. This will be either the 4th or the 5th time I've tried running it. This is the furthest we've gotten in this setting. So yeah, I've had this in my in my head for a long time. And it's evolved, obviously. Like, it started out as a pretty, like, I'll say it, pretty shitty campaign setting. But over the years, I've just kind of refined it to where it is now. It's still being refined. There we go, refined, because that's, yeah, English. So yeah, hopefully we'll get to the end of it. There's some big stuff in the pipeline for that campaign that I am looking forward to. I've already gotten through a lot of, like, the preamble stuff that sets up the main baddies and kind of the everything in the campaign, so yeah. Actually, let's see, for funsies, for fun's sake, let's see if I can actually find it. Does it exist anymore? Does this exist anymore? Okay, this is gonna be embarrassing but fun. Okay, so the first campaign I ran was a Dark Heresy campaign. And wow, this is shitty. This is real bad. This is the map I used for my Dark Heresy campaign. Wow. That's so bad. That was the first map I had made for a campaign setting. And yeah, it's very much noticeable. That is horrible. I think this is where this is where everybody started the game. And then their objective was to try and get to here, I think. It was like a world in the midst of a Necron invasion. But yeah, this is the first map I ever made. Yeah. Wow. Wow. The rivers are horrible. This is bad. So we got that. And then, fun. This one's fun, because this shows kind of like, one, me not really understanding technology and like map making programs, and also like my mindset and how things have kind of grown. This is the first map for the Sleeping Giants like set campaign setting. Like that, this is like the first map for it. And this was made with some sort of like fractal terrain generation program that turned out this really hodgepodgey mess of a map. But like this was the first map for first map for Sleeping Giants. I don't even know when this was made, but it's got to be going on. God. It's got to be going on like almost 10 years ago, I think. Something like that. It's got to be old at this point. Really old. I have to be like 18 or something. But yeah, this is like the first map I made for Sleeping Giants. And for reference, for anybody that doesn't know, if I can find it here, let me get. I'm not bad at making maps. This is the current world map of Sleeping Giants. So yeah, it's, you know, I've gotten better. I've gotten somewhat better at making a world map. God, I keep this to remind me of where I've come from. This is horrible. Oh, wow. Do I have any other horrible things that exist in my past? No, I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. This is in my like miscellaneous folder for stuff. I've gotten my like RPG backlog folder. Yeah, that's those are there to remind me of where it came from. Though to be fair, I will say, given the fact that I drew that that Dark Heresy map with a mouse, that wasn't horrible. In terms of like the greenery area there, so that was good. Didn't understand where rivers and stuff like came from or how they worked back then, so those were all horrible. I've gotten better, I hope I can say. I hope I can say I've gotten better and it's not just I'm using technology as a crutch. Okay. Oh, I could probably find some of my... See, the thing is, when I started going to paper with my, like, map designs, I got better than when I was on the computer and just, like, working with bad, like, technology that it's not really supposed to be used that way and stuff like that. I got better when I was using paper. Now, obviously, I couldn't do, like... I couldn't draw a mountain to save my life, so I just kind of used triangles as a representation of that. At least I don't think I have any pictures of my physical maps. I don't think I do. Wouldn't be in this folder, though. It'd be in my... Oh, actually, no, I do have a couple. Huh. These are old. Yeah, this is the prototype for the Sleeping Giants map that I drew on a sketch pad, or a little notepad that I knocked it out. And this was like kind of like my first like proto placement that I liked. I think back then I had the idea that this would all be like desert or marshy or something like that. But a lot of stuff remained the same actually now that I look at it. In terms of its placement. This makes no sense. There should be an outlet river somewhere. That kind of makes sense, though technically it would probably go like this way and there'd just be two rivers going next to each other. But like that was a prototype for that. And do I have another one here? Oh yeah, here's a couple of like sketches I've done just for fun. I was trying to like sketch out a couple of like continents. So I made these and I got like a little sketch book that I keep like all this kind of stuff in. This is a little bit too craggy along all of these to be really useful. They need to be a bit smoother. What's this one? Oh, wow. Yeah, this is like... Wow, this is like sophomore high school Roach. This is like a prototype star like nation map that I made for a setting that I still have in my head that I want to do. Right. Wow. I probably still have this. I need to translate this into like an actual file like on like the computer so I can actually work on it at some point. It's a good thing I kept that. All right. Sorry for all the nostalgia, guys. I know that's probably not why you're here. Oh, I'm sure yours are okay, Andronus. All right, Andronus, you have a good day. It has been great. I have loved every minute of it. You have a good time at that club, and good luck. Or I guess the prep. You're doing prep for it. But either way, good luck. Channel wouldn't exist without any of you guys that are currently watching, so that's not true at all. At least not in its current state. I do have to remember I have to record some Pathfinder Kingmaker later today so I can keep up with the upload schedule. I've got a backlog of a couple episodes, but I need to keep up with it. Okay. So how's everybody doing in the chat? Or that's currently watching? Everybody doing all right? Having a good time? Watching me suss my way mediocre-like through this map? As I go over something I already did because I didn't like it the first time, thus taking an extra hour of our lives away. Or more, given the fact that I've still got a couple of different coastlines I have to redo. That, and I also have to go through this again and try and spot out like harbors and bays and little side islands and stuff. All right. Go. Oh. Getting a bit quicker. Hopefully this won't take too much longer to redraw this. I was hoping to actually get to like doing the contours today and stuff, but we might not. I don't really want to go over like 3.5 hours. I mean, we're not anywhere close to 3.5 hours right now. We're about an hour off 3.5 hours, but... oh, well. Wonder if I should, like, post that I'm doing these streams on... I know a couple of, like, world-building Discords that have places to put, like, announcements or like sharing like video links and stuff. I wonder if that'd be alright. Or if I should just keep it to the current group, the OGs, all you guys, which I'm assuming all you guys, given the fact that there are people watching. And I've only posted links to this on my Discord, so either somebody found it naturally or they were already on my Discord to begin with. Sure, Ryan. Yeah, that'd be cool. Maybe you could also like PM me like the names of them or them themselves, like their invite links, if they're okay with it. I'd always love to get like some people, some actual like world building fans to like look at my stuff, because I don't trust my own instincts in the slightest. So I always like having constructive criticisms from individuals that I view as authorities on a subject, even if we're equal in actual fact. It's the same thing with like because I do miniature painting a lot, and I never like what it comes out, but everybody always says it's good, or it's better than what they can do, or it's definitely like above average for some of the stuff I've done. And that actually sounds like I'm just boasting right there. But I spend a lot of time with my miniature painting, probably a disoriented amount of time for like what I get out of it. So yeah, that's. But I always post in like in Discords that are focused around that kind of stuff to get a constructive criticism about what I do, no matter what, because I think that's a good thing to have. So if there were a couple like world building Discords that I could post like a link to the streams and stuff into, get some of those people watching, that'd definitely be awesome. Because I'd love to know what their opinions are on, various things I'm doing, or even their input on like how I should do stuff, if I'm doing it wrong. I know a lot of them will say, you shouldn't be drawing in a riser-based program like this, or raster-based program like this. You should do it in a vector-based program so you get more detail. Which is true. And I know it, but I just can't be asked to learn how to draw in one of those programs. It's like learning Greek. I just can't do it. No offense to anybody that's Greek. It's just a saying. It's just an idiom. Definitely like to get some opinions and ideas on flags. It's like my damn kryptonite. Never been good at vexology. Like, I understand the concepts and the rules and stuff like that, but I just don't have that creative flair to actually make them work. Which sucks, because I know people that can just make an awesome flag and with no effort, and it pisses me off that I can't. It doesn't piss me off. It's just annoying. Actually, just realized, did I have myself on Do Not Disturb on Discord? No, I don't. Okay. So that's all these landmasses done. Let's redo the island and get that done. Then we can do the last landmass in the south, and we're done. Actually, just to double check, did I ever do the southern part of this landmass? Did I ever do that? I did. Okay. It's one of those things. Just I must have been on total autopilot while I was working on that. I completely, like, my brain did not register that I had worked on that. Oh, I just hate it when that happens. Such relaxing music. Should probably look into maybe getting the Crusader King. Nah, Crusader Kings is a bit too harsh. I don't think that'd be a good track to work to. Okay. Take a drink while I'm at it. Okay. And hey, Ryan, if it's all right in some of those Discords, you can just toss the link in there on my behalf. If you know a couple, definitely appreciate it. We're going to be going for a while more. I want to at least get some contours down before I end out this stream. There we go. Who knows? Maybe also some more exposure on stuff like this will actually net me a few more commissions for map making or stuff, or heck, even a writing commission, as I have also done that. Okay. Again, I keep doing that back and forth erasing motion. It's really hard to unlearn those habits. Okay. You know what we haven't done in like 2.5 hours? Save. Gonna do that. All right. That up a bit. Okay. Got that done. Now it is all all the way. Yeah, because we've already done all this. Yes, now it is all this. So let's do the part that's going to be... Actually... I mean, we compare it here. This one's already... Nah, there's some parts we could improve upon, so we're going to do that. I'm just going to redo these islands. Okay, got that. All right. Let's make sure that's connected. Oh. Just popped my wrist and that felt really good. Hopefully that didn't appear on the mic. I know some people do not like to hear like knuckles popping or necks popping and stuff. And I know I do that a lot subconsciously, so I apologize if anybody has that problem. It's just how my body works. And for future reference, just for anybody listening, I am trying to do these streams on the weekend around noon or a little bit before noon is kind of what I am hoping to do these on a regular basis. So I schedule them out beforehand, but I'm not sure if those actually show to subscribers that I've scheduled them out. So just to keep that in mind. Saturday is what I'm planning on, with possibly, if I'm feeling like it, or have the time, Sundays around the same time. So yeah, that's what I shoot for with these. Okay. All right. Yeah, this definitely got to be redone. If only I had done it like this to begin with, we wouldn't have to redo all the coastline. And we might have been done with the coastline at this point and actually started working on the contours. Me and my hubris. That we also lost probably about 20 minutes there when I was eating a pork chop sandwich. nope, nope. Down, Duke, down. Down. Whew. Ow. Starting to get antsy. I've been ignoring him for 3 hours. Gotten so big. I remember just, it's like last month he was just a little kitten. Actually, I think it was last month he was just a little kitten. Speaking of which, I need to call a vet. Gotta set a reminder to do that. I think he's due for his booster shots here soon. Definitely gonna have to go ahead and put some little islands in these fjords. At this scale, they definitely show up a bit more than they would at the world map scale. Okay. Okay. Keep going here. Hopefully you guys aren't here and there's a conversation going on downstairs. Hopefully you guys aren't hearing that. Really need to invest in another pack or two of these foam sound dampening panels. I got 12 on the wall in like a pattern, but I should probably cover the whole wall just to kind of deaden everything outside of this room. I think there's like a pack of 50 I can pick up. That might be something I'll look into. We're gonna erase that. That is not a good one to have. There we go. Okay, one more part of the coast left. Let's go all the way down here and start working on it. Okay. Just doing some stretching. Starting to get a kink in my shoulder. In my drawing shoulder. Make this a bit more sharp. Yeah, that looks better. Okay. Sorry I'm not saying much, guys. I'm just kind of concentrating on getting this done. That, and there's also not a lot going on in the chat right now, so there's not a lot to respond to. And I don't just want to keep talking your heads off with unrelated subjects. Oh, damn. We are getting close to the end, though, because my hand is starting to hurt. Really need to work on the longevity, my stamina in my left hand. I don't mean like that, because I know somebody's thinking it. I know some of my friends can go 6 hours on an art stream without too much trouble. Not all the time, but still they can do it. I don't think I would ever be able to, right now at least, with my current hands and muscles, I don't think I'd be able to manage that. All right. Well, my hand hurts. Oh, my hand and my wrist hurt. And we've been going for about 3 hours and 5-6 minutes. So I think that's a good time for us to call the stream here. We got a lot less done than I originally had hoped for. I thought we were going to knock out the coast really quick and we'd be able to get to the contours and stuff, but it doesn't look like we're going to be able to because of just the I wasn't happy with my first pass on the coast, so we're gonna so I have to redraw it. So I'm gonna do that off stream. I can get in a more relaxed position where my hand won't hurt as much when I don't have to worry about the mic being right here. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna end it here. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Maybe get a little bit of this done off stream, and next time, maybe tomorrow, we'll continue working on this. So I'd like to thank everybody who showed up and interacted in chat or even just watched. All of this helps, like all the engagement helps. But I'm going to head off here. Thank you all. By the way, if you liked any of this, hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Also check out my Discord. I always post a message when I'm going live. As well, and also check out my Patreon because every little bit helps. But I'll see all of you in the next stream, I guess. Bye.